William Penn, a pioneer, a builder, and a man of faith. Born in England in 1644, as a young man, Penn became a member of the Religious Society of Friends, or the Quakers, on account of them supposedly quaking every time they talked with God. The Society were a group of Christians who believed that anyone could communicate with God directly. They also believed that everyone is equal, which meant they wouldn't bow to anyone. They also allowed women to speak at their meetings.
I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so anyway.
Most famously, they refused to fight. All this would have pissed off any authority figures in the 1600s, but especially English authority figures in the 1600s. England had its own brand of state-run Protestantism, known as the Church of England, or Anglicans, and they saw non-compliance with the state church as a direct challenge to their power. So you can kind of see why the society might be looking for somewhere new to live. Enter North America. England had laid claim to much of the land that would become the original 13 colonies in North America, but they couldn't make any money off it unless there were people living there. White people, to be specific. It's also really hard to tell other countries to stay off your land when none of your people are living there.
I think I have the solution!
Puritans from England had already established a few colonies in America, but they didn't get along with the society. Puritans, by the way, were like Anglicans, but on steroids. Enter William Penn. See, King Charles II owed Penn's dad, and Penn decided to cash in on that favor in land. Penn's idea was to create a land with true equality, where everyone would be equal, and everyone, including non-Quakers, would be free to worship the way they wanted to. Would you look at those foreshadows? King Charles named the new land Pennsylvania. Salvania is Latin for woods, and Penn was for Penn's father. Penn's relationship with his father had become strained when he joined the society, but despite their differences, Penn's father told him, "Let nothing in this world tempt you to wrong your conscience," before his death. While on paper Penn owned the land, Penn was way ahead of his time. While most European settlers believed it was acceptable to screw over local American Indian communities, Penn went out of his way to do right by them. Penn opened up negotiations with a group known as the Lenni Lenape, who agreed to let him settle there. In years to come, Penn actually learned their language and customs. He really did want everyone to coexist peacefully. Penn could have ruled the colony like a king, but that wasn't the sort of guy he was. Penn drafted a constitution that limited the power of government and set up free elections for every land-owning Christian. Look! Another foreshadows! This would become a model for the eventual U.S. Constitution. Penn also founded the city of Philadelphia. Philadelphia is Greek, and it literally translates to brotherly love.
Too subtle!
European cities were cramped and disease-ridden. Penn wanted a spacious city with no dark alleys and streets wide enough that would be effectively fireproof. The city was also built on a grid with square, easy-to-navigate blocks. It's a model virtually every American city would later steal from. Okay, is there anything in later America that wasn't borrowed from this guy? Penn died in 1718. He actually died poor, as he'd sunk all his money into making the colony a success, and his investment, financially at least, hadn't panned out, due to his never much of a businessman. He left behind a legacy that America's founders would seek to emulate. By allowing religious and cultural tolerance in his state, Penn's colony became a true melting pot, something the future United States would become known for. Also, he's the guy in the oatmeal package. Thanks for watching.
Like, subscribe, watch another video, I guess. Or don't. I'm not the boss of you. Free country? Yeah, America.